everyone, Neve here with the Rainbow Cauldron, and this is your weekly general reading for February 4th through the 10th, 2018. So we've got a whole new background. I decided to go with something light because the last 2 months have been kind of a dark background, so I wanted to go with something a little brighter. And here in New England, February is still very much the dead of winter, so it is kind of dark right now, and it kind of gets that winter where we sort of want it to be over with at this point, you know. But here we have winter for at least another month, so we don't usually enter into spring here until about April, sometimes even May. But so I also wanted to go with kind of a fairy themed this week. So I chose the, actually we should probably have this here and this here because this is the Oracle deck. So for the Oracle deck, I chose the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle, and I don't usually pick this deck because while the artwork in it is absolutely stunning, I'm a huge fan of Brian Froud. As an Oracle deck, it's not as intuitive as I usually prefer. So I don't usually pick it, but I was drawn to it this week because I did want more of a fairy theme. So yeah, I might be using the book for this more than normal. We'll see how that goes. And so the tarot deck I chose was the Shadowscapes Tarot. I almost chose the Crystal Visions Tarot, which isn't fairy themed really. Kind of, well, I guess it is a little bit, and that is a little lovey themed, and this is the month of February, which has Valentine's Day, so I thought about picking that one, but I just really wanted to use the Shadowscapes Tarot, so I decided to go with that one. It's such a beautiful deck. All right, so what I will do, I will draw one card from the Fairy Oracle deck, and that will represent the general theme of the week, something to think about. And then I will draw 3 cards from the Shadowscapes Tarot, and that will represent the general flow of energy throughout the week. All right, let's get started. So, the Oracle deck, it is Fairies of the Future. All right, so let's see. So as I said, I'll probably be pulling in the book. This is the book here. But let me see if I can kind of get an idea of the card from the card itself. So we have 3 main fairies here, it seems, 2 strong ones. This one's looking to the future. This guy back here is kind of, he's got one eye this way, one eye that way. We've got most of these fairies looking to the future. Some of them are looking to the past. We've got a gnome down here who's pointing the way, and she's looking at him. Yeah, so, and we've got some fairies here just looking straight dead on at the reader, the person looking at the card. That's us. So, it kind of makes me think of the card from last week, the Oracle card from last week, where we kind of, it represented seeing the bigger picture, seeing what's to come, because we can see past, present, future. We can see everything around us because the last card, we were standing so tall we could see beyond, we could see the bigger picture. Here, it seems more guided to the future, like we've really got a sense of the past and present, and we have a good idea of what's to come. So let's see what the book says. Okay, so I found, this is card number 33, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Fairies of the Future. So the card, the main text for it says, "Be here now, guidance, moving forward." The gnome of now at the top of the card looks both ways simultaneously. Like I pointed out, something that would give a human a crick in the brain if he tried it. However, the gnome has no particular problem with this, as fairies always have a sliding sense of past, present, and future. Anna, in the center, steps boldly forth. So let's put this card here. This, I assume, is Anna. Pregnant with possibilities and carrying the hazelnut that grants wisdom. Puggy, above her, crouches, ready to take off and rush ahead just as soon as she is sure of what direction they are going, while the frog above her waits, hoping to be kissed just to see what will happen. So, yeah. All right, Amalthea on the left hesitates momentarily, not sure if she's dressed properly or her hair done right for the occasion. Nearly everyone is looking to the future with cheerful optimism. For all of Anna's bold stepping forward, if you look closely, you can see that her eyes are on the wise Gnome King on the lower left. He seems sure of the way to go. He's relying on his gut sense to guide him, knowing that this is the magic and it will serve him better than logic in the unknown future. Being a gnome, a son of Earth, he is well grounded in reality, which is what it takes to have trustworthy gut feelings. All right, so there is more to this, but I think we got a general sense of this. Yeah. So yeah, I think we got a general sense of this. It's, really looking to the future, seeing the next steps. So let's see what the tarot cards say, because the tarot cards will also give us a better sense of what we're talking about here. All right, so let's get those. All right, so the tarot cards here. The first card we have the 10 of Wands. All right. I love the art in this deck. So beautiful. Next, we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, that makes sense. And finally, we have the Queen of Cups. Okay, interesting. So, I feel like these two cards are the most connected here. Aces in general represent a new beginning. It's the start. It's a new beginning. So with the 10 of Wands here, this is a card of taking on too much. It's a card of responsibility and being burdened with that responsibility. This woman here who kind of represents a tree almost. On her back, she is carrying like this whole civilization. This whole civilization is on her back here. So she is definitely taking on a lot. But she's really rooted and grounded in reality. She's grounded in her realm. But boy, what a burden this is. And the 10 of Wands, it also sort of represents being punished, like being held accountable. If you've done something wrong, here she's taking on that responsibility, that punishment. She's taking on that burden. So that's a sense that I get from it, but also just a general taking on too much. And whereas what we come here, this is a card, like I said, of new beginnings, because it is an ace. But the Ace of Swords is specifically about swift justice. And that sort of connects to that idea where I said this is sort of accepting a punishment, being held accountable. The swords here are about justice, so there is a sort of connection there. But the Ace of Swords is also about clearing obstructions, like slicing through obstacles and problems, and really just finding the truth. And that makes sense with the fairies of the future, with kind of having a foreknowledge of the future, being knowledge of past, present, future. Here we're finding truth here we're seeing truth. So that is a connection there. So taking on too much or being held accountable, but finding the truth, swift justice, and moving forward. And finally, we have the Queen of Cups, which is the exact opposite from what we had last week. Our last card was the Queen of Pentacles last week, and now we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles is acting on logic. She's very pragmatic. She's very sensible. She's not, she's not acting on emotion. She's acting on practicalities. Whereas with the Queen of Cups here, it's total opposite. Moving forward here, we are acting on our emotions. We're acting on instinct, and that's connected here too, because this, while last week's card with seeing the future was more of a practical nature, this is more of an instinct. A bit of some technical issues here. Sorry about that, guys. My camera stopped filming without me knowing until I was editing. So in closing, we're seeing having a sense of past, present, and future. We're burdened by responsibility, but being held accountable for our actions. There's sort of a swift justice and finding the truth with the Ace of Swords there. And finally, with the Queen of Cups, moving forward, we're basing our actions on our instinct, following our heart, and acting on emotion rather than logic. And that is really connecting to that Fairies of the Future card. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys later. Blessed be. Bye.